Hello everybody, today we have a super fun video because Sauda will be joining us on Sanctuary Chimps. And now you might say Sauda is not very good on Sanctuary. For like most of the rounds in the early game, she can't even hit anything, which is pretty true, but we're going to be cranking this way up and getting over 50, well just about 52,000 cash spare with this run using Sauda as our main DPS. So we're not doing any like cheese type of thing where Sauda is going to be the main DPS and we're getting 52,000 cash spare on Sanctuary, and it's going to be super fun. I was super impressed by this run, but even that, I think there's something that you could do to improve, which is kind of strange, but it will be an interesting approach that I guess I'll mention a bit later. But for the early game, I wasn't actually really sure what I was doing. All I knew is that I wanted to get Sauda and Energizer, and I'd have to figure out a way to do that. And now I've done Churchill Energizer, where you get Energizer before round 63, which is pretty hard to do because the reactor doesn't have that greatest of the save up power, and you're spending a lot of money on it, and especially on a map like this, reactor isn't going to be doing a whole lot. Plus you need to save the $30,000 before round 63, which is a pretty hefty save up, so it's hard to do. So I honestly wasn't really sure if I could even pull it off, considering I struggled a bit with the Churchill save up, but nonetheless I'm going to push through it and make it possible whether I like it or not. So that was absolutely crazy, and the late game came together really well too. So I had to get a little more power on the snipers than I needed. I got 2 1-1-0s. Might be possible to get away without doing that, something along the lines, especially because I had to go for that crossbow later. I think you could just do 1-1-0 and go for crossbow. I had to do that for camo and all that stuff, and then I went for the village and alchemist. Now this alchemist will be one thing of topic later in what could be improved. However, I need to get a stim on this alchemist, so it's not like cutting upgrades or whatnot, it's positioning and all, but I need to get a stim on this alchemist because Sauda literally can't hit anything without like any range buffs at all. Then also I'm going for the downdraft so I can beat the mid game. This is going to be very big for pushing back ceramics of Moabs that pop open really late. It's pretty strong in the mid game, it just kind of lacks the pierce in the late game. Like all that power was moved over to Chinook, and I am not going to be going for the Chinook, so we're just going to have to deal with that. It can help out here and there, it has some clutches in the late game, but overall it doesn't really do a whole lot in the late game. At least it was more so for the mid game while still giving a little bit of help in the late game. So I'm just going to probably leave you off here for the moment. I'll come back later when something else happens, but the mid game saving up for the the Energizer was really special. There were some tricky rounds, so enjoy that. I'll come back after so when we get more Sauda levels. Alright, so wrapping up the mid-game right there, we're just cruising through the rest of it. All of it was super easy after I got Energizer, and now Sauda's getting some good levels. I went for Overclock, and then I'm going to get the first strike too, and then lastly, to round it all off, I decided to go for the super glue. I feel like super glue has been really underrated recently, and I've been using it to pull off some pretty crazy stuff. What the whole point of what I'm doing here is that I completely counter DDTs, because DDTs are an issue and I need something to deal with that. So instead of getting a bunch of support that would not be that useful against round 98, I decided to get super glue, because what super glue will allow me to do is will allow me to just like hold ZOMGs and also hold DDTs, so I can basically focus with the cleanup, which Sword Charge just absolutely takes care of, and then Sauda can just hold the rest in the meantime. So I think Super Glue was absolutely a great decision. I feel like there might have been a possible way to beat it that's cheaper than using super glue, but I kind of don't know about that. If there is, I don't really think it would be worth the effort of doing, so I decided to go for super glue. Now the one thing that I did say would have been improved was the overclock. I feel like overclock could be cut, and for something cheaper, especially if you move the alchemist over a little bit, because right now it's second priority. As its stim, it is allowed to have a second priority, and that second priority is on a crossbow, a 003 or something, whatever crossbow, which absolutely is very useless. And so if I could have had the extra pierce, extra attack speed, extra range on the super glue, I think it would have had enough work to be able to take out 99 and 95 without the overclock, because I actually overclocked the super glue on those rounds, and I believe some of 98 too. I'm not quite sure exactly, but because I did that, I figured there's probably something wrong. It's not that I don't have enough damage on Sauda if I'm overclocking the super glue to be able to survive these rounds. It's probably that overclock isn't really necessary and something could be done for cheaper. And if I was able to get the stim buff on the super glue, that definitely would have been possible. So I probably would have had to experiment with it maybe a little bit. I don't know what would have been done, but I feel like there is a way to improve on that, but it's kind of just like reshaping the whole strategy. 100 would not have really been an issue, I don't think. I can double FS 100, which is pretty cool. That's how I beat 100 with just that one first strike. Energizer allows you to do that. Also, first strike really kind of goes hard with Energizer. You can first strike a lot of stuff, which is pretty neat. Out of all the rounds though, 99 was the hardest. It took a lot of time, and I needed perfect RNG, perfect micro with the downdraft heli for whatever it's possible to be able to do with such limited pierce. And then I needed the perfect sword charge placement. No, not sword charge, leaping sword placement, which is really difficult because I wanted to use it late so that it doesn't expire immediately, but I needed to like take out all of the ceramics and that. So that's around 99 there. That took a long time to do. And that was really tricky because downdraft would be blowing back ceramics, and the first ceramic would be like halfway up the map in a useless spot. So it just took a lot of work, but I finally beat it, and 52,000 cash spare. I'd say that's pretty good. Possibly could have been done a little bit better, but yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!